although I'm sorry to you, but for your safety, please don't come here." Nami glanced at the sea in the distance, his eyes full of pain. She really liked being with this group of people, but there was nothing she could do. They can't beat Arlong, and if Arlong catches them, they'll be killed. "I hope to forget about me as soon as possible." Nami sighed. "You have your own path, I have mine." Maybe it won't be long before she saves enough money to redeem the village. Thinking of this, Nami's mood improved a little, and then he noticed something floating on the sea not far away. "What is that?" After getting closer, Nami realized that this was actually a person, lying on the sea face up, looking at the ups and downs of the chest. There should be still air. The kind Nami sighed. "Forget it, it's your luck to meet me. If you don't see it, it's fine. Now that you see it, just help him." It wasn't until Nami rescued him that he remembered that if he brought him back to the village, would he be killed by Arlong's group? But she couldn't make the decision to throw people into the sea. "Hey," Nami looked at Kite lying on the ground with a headache. "Let's see if we can secretly bring people in." But unfortunately, when he arrived at Kokosa village, he was still found by the Murlocs. "Hey, Nami, who is that man you're carrying?" The Murloc looked at Nami with a puzzled expression and said, "Is it a trophy?" Immediately, a grim smile appeared. "Just right. I've been short of a sandbag recently. Give it to me." It's best to use humans for sandbags or something. It is a pity that there are not many human beings who are disobedient, and there is no chance to start. Nami hesitated for a while after hearing the words. "Do you want to hand this person over?" To be honest, this person is not related to her, and even if he dies, he has nothing to do with her. But for some reason, she just couldn't bear to see this person die here. Finally Nami thought of a saying. "This is my friend, the kind that helps me make money together. He's injured now and I need to take him home to recuperate. We will continue to act together in the future." "Friend." The Murloc hesitated for a while, but finally nodded and let Nami go. He knew what Nami meant by making money. A trace of disdain suddenly appeared in her heart. Did this woman really think that Arlong would keep her promise? Oh, she is willing to take this with her. Anyway, he will go back and talk to Arlong about it. As for how to deal with it, that is not his business. Seeing that the Murlocs didn't stop her, Nami breathed a sigh of relief. She was really afraid that this guy would take this person away regardless, and he would surely die. "You can't die." Nami glanced at the man behind him and said, "You owe me a lot. At least give money. My head hurts." Kite, who woke up, bared his teeth in pain and grinned. "Did you hit your head?" Then he opened his eyes and looked around, and found himself lying on a bed. "Looks like I've came to the other world, and the decoration on this bed looks like the place where the girl lives." "Did you save yourself by a girl?" Feeling the knowledge in his brain, Kite nodded, and the gods really didn't lie to him. Before coming to this world, Kite met the so-called gods. Because he is righteous and brave to die, so the gods promised to give him the cheat he wanted and reborn him in the other world. Kite decisively chose the Grey Wolf template, while retaining the essence of human beings. As long as he is given time, he is invincible. He can develop all kinds of bizarre things. The god agreed, put the template into Kite's body, and gave him a necklace at the same time, telling Kite that this is a defensive equipment that can withstand a fatal attack every day. Then he was thrown into the world of pirates. It's a pity that Kite passed out unfortunately when he was traveling, otherwise he would still be able to see the splendid starry sky. Raising his hand and touching the necklace on his chest, Kite's eyes flashed. Is there a way to sign up? Although only once, it is enough. Relying on his ability, it is only a matter of time before weapons are created. The next step is to think about the way forward. He is a scientist, and the best way is to stay in a force and work on his own inventions safely. Thinking of power, Kite thought of Luffy, the Straw Hat Boy. Why don't you join the Straw Hat crew? It's good to think about the scientists on the ship of One Piece in the future. Are you awake? A nice female voice sounded, attracting Kite's attention. Kite turned his head to look and was stunned for a moment. Is it her you brought me back? Kite said awkwardly. Could it be that when he came to this world again, he accidentally fell into the sea? Really, since it is time travel, why let him faint? This god is also unreliable. Of course it's me, Or who else could it be? Nami said angrily. If you didn't happen to meet me, you would have been drowned, or else it will be eaten by sea beasts. She really didn't know what she was thinking at the time, getting back such a tow oil bottle. The more he thought about it, the more angry he became. Nami looked at Kite viciously and said, "You owe me 10 million Bailey, do you know?" The corner of Kite's mouth twitched when he heard this. It really fits the character of this little thief cat. Can't be less. 10 million is a bit. No, Nami snorted. The grace for saving lives is greater than the sky, and it is very rare to ask you 10 million Baileys. Okay. Kite touched his nose. I'll give you the money later. As soon as these words came out, Nami was stunned, and then looked at Kite with golden eyes. She just said that just now. She didn't really want the money at all. But see what this guy means. Does he really have it? Could it be the young master of some big family? Thinking of this, Nami was excited. If this is the case, she has enough money. When are you giving it to me? Looking at Nami's appearance of a financial fan, Kite was a little embarrassed. I don't have it now, but I will give it to you in the future. What? Nami pouted, feeling bragging. Forget it, just kidding. Nami stood up and walked out. Come on, let's go eat something first. You must be hungry after being in a coma for so long. By the way, let me introduce myself. My name is Nami. My name is Kite. Kite got out of bed and stretched, then rubbed his stomach. I'm really hungry. How long has he been in a coma? Damn, unreliable God, don't let me take a chance, or you will be beautiful. After leaving the bedroom, Kite saw another blue-haired beauty, thinking that this should be Nuokijao. Yo, Nami's little lover is up. Nuokijao said with a teasing face. Come and sit down. Let's have something to eat together. I said he's not, Nami said helplessly. She has explained it many times. Why doesn't my sister believe it? Nuokijao ignored Nami and brought a handsome guy back for no reason, saying that there was nothing wrong, so she didn't believe it. Seeing this, Nami rolled his eyes, pulled Kite and walked over. This is my sister. Her name is Nuokijao. This is Kite. I don't plan to continue to explain the redundant explanation. Just eat something. Nuoki smiled. Little Nami is shy. So cute. Kite, where did you meet Nami? Nuokijao asked curiously. Where? Kite swallowed the bread in his mouth and turned to glance at Nami. Look at what I do. Nami was speechless. It's better if you tell the truth. Kite nodded. That should be on the sea. I don't know the exact sea. At that time, he was not sober. How could he know where to go? That's it. Nuokijao heard the words and did not doubt that it was normal to meet on the sea. After all, Nami has been running around all these years. Look at your clothes. You don't look like an ordinary person. Could it be a noble of some country? Nuochi pointed at Kite's clothes. This kind of fabric is not something that ordinary people like them can afford. You said this. Kite scratched his head. The family bought it back then. But I'm not a noble. Just an ordinary person. After all, in his world, money can buy good things, right? You don't have to be noble. Nuokijao looked unconvinced, but seeing that Kite did not intend to admit it, she did not ask again. Let me tell you, I don't support idlers here. Nami hummed. If you want to eat, you have to work, you know. When your injury is healed, you can take care of the orange orchard here. After coming here, it is difficult to go out again. It was a helpless move to bring Kite back at that time, but it doesn't matter. When she buys the village back, everything will change. When they want to go out, they can go out, and no one can stop them. 1 billion, 100 million. She's about to save up soon. Taking care of the orange grove. Kite glanced at Nami after hearing this. Does this girl trust him so much? You must know that all the money this girl stole is put there. What a surprise. Cute. He likes it. Oh, by the way, I still need to go out for a while, so you can stay at home. After eating, Nami walked out, and she also wanted to go to Arlong Paradise. By the way, make sure those idiots are following. If she follows, she has to find a way to save people. Kite nodded and did not choose to follow. Right now, he has no means of attack, so he must hurry up to research the weapon. After seeing Nami leave, Nuokijao restrained the smile on his face, looked at Kite hesitantly said, You know what Nami has been up to? I know a little. Kite nodded. then picked up the water on the table and drank it. Nuoki frowned slightly. Under such circumstances, would this man still be willing to be with Nami? If so, he is indeed a man worth entrusting with his life. No way. As Nami's older sister, Nuokijao is obliged to help her sister check. I know what you want to say. Kite put down a cup and waved his hand, but you can rest assured that I am a man you can trust. By the way, do you have tools here? Welding hammer or something? What are you going to do? Nuokijao asked with some doubts. It seemed that the man knew about Nami's situation. Now that he knows Nami's situation and is willing to come here, it proves to be a trustworthy person. Just doing something for self-defense. Kite raised the corner of his mouth. Forgot to tell you, I'm a scientist. In every sense. So-called almighty scientist. Nuokijao was a little surprised. Really, this was the first time she had seen a living scientist, and she had always heard it in other people's mouths or read it in books. What's so confusing? Kite rolled his eyes. Don't say you don't even have tools. Now he doesn't have much time. He has to make the weapon before the fight. Nuokijao shook his head. I really don't have it here, but Uncle Jin should have it there. Wait a minute, I'll find him right away. Having said that, Nuokijao stood up and walked out. If this is really a scientist, there is no chance that he will be able to study anything powerful. What if you can beat Arlong? What if, having been suppressed for too long, Nuokijao really hopes that this person is a hope? Unlike the naive Nami, Nokigo knows just how greedy Arlong is. Will he let Nami go? With a sigh, Nuoki looked up at the sky, and her eyes gradually became firmer. Nami, no matter what, we are fighting with you. If Arlong and the others really don't keep their promises, they can only fight with them. Kite, who was sitting in the room, could clearly see a suppressed emotion from Nuokijao's back. Don't worry, Arlong is no problem with me. If Luffy and the others didn't arrive in time, I'm sorry, this head was taken by him. Is that Arlong Paradise? Usopp looked at Arlong Paradise in the distance, his voice trembling. The pirates who came here from the Grand Line. The strength must be very terrifying. If there is a conflict, will he be killed? Let's go to other parts of the island to find the going merry that Nami big sister is riding on, Johnny suggested. It's impossible for the three of them to all die here. Usopp nodded in agreement. It was a good decision. Zoro ignored the conversation between the two, picked up Hedao and stood up, ready to go in. Zoro said lightly, although what this woman is doing now makes him despise, it is the captain's order after all. Moreover, he also wanted to see how strong the so-called Murlocs were. I just don't know if there will be swordsmen in it. Why is it like this? As soon as you come up, Usopp was dumbfounded. You idiot. We don't have any clues for the master yet. The opponent is that Murloc. Johnny was also excited. He didn't want to die here. I don't like that trouble. Zoro turned his head and glanced at Arlong Paradise in the distance. His eyes were very indifferent and said, Luffy told me to bring that woman back. No matter who the other party is, I will bring her back. What about Murlocs? Just cut it. Usopp and Johnny looked at each other before picking up the hammer and hitting Zoro on the head. When Zoro woke up again, he found that he had been tied up by these two scammers. What do you guys mean? Untie the rope for me. Are you idiots? In case the enemy finds out, without my effective combat power, can you beat the enemy? Zoro felt like he was going to die, but unfortunately, the two guys ignored Zoro and watched going merry in the distance. Now that the ship has been found, the people are not far away. Just when the two were happy, a few Murlocs suddenly appeared in the distance, which scared Usopp into a frenzy. Later, when the opponent dived and rushed over, he abandoned Zoro. Looking at the two Murlocs rushing up, Zoro's mouth twitched. These two bastards, chop them sooner or later. Why is this only one person? One of the Murlocs said with some doubts. It's probably drifted from somewhere else. Never mind, take it back and show it to Brother Arlong. As for whether this person dies or not, it has nothing to do with them. Here are some tools you want. Nuokijao wiped the sweat on his forehead and said, can you see if you can use it? Okay. Kite looked at it and nodded. That's enough. After Nuokijao left, He wandered around the yard again and found something that could make explosives. This is also a pleasant surprise. What are you going to do? Ajian, who came over, looked at Kite with some vigilance. Although Nuokijau explained to him who this person was, he was still a little wary. Kite did not answer Jin's words, but instead asked, "Do you have the heart to watch Nami continue to suffer?" Ajian was stunned for a moment, then his face turned cold. "What do you know?" "I know everything," Kite snorted. "I know how hard that girl worked. She stole things from pirates. Which one is not a life-threatening? If you are a little careless, you will die in the hands of the other party. Even as a girl, if it falls into the hands of the opponent, sometimes death is a relief." Jin was silent. Why didn't he know about these things? That's why the reaction is so big. If something goes wrong, Nami's efforts will be in vain. That Arlong promised Nami that as long as she earns 100 million. Are you so naive too? Uncle Kite interrupted. Wake up, what do you think the other party is? They are pirates. Shaking his head, ignoring the sluggish Jin, he picked up the things on the ground and walked towards the warehouse. Don't worry. I won't do anything for the time being. At least he won't do anything until Colonel Mouse arrives. He needs to show Nami what that bastard in Arlong really is. Not all pirates are like the Straw Hats. Glancing at the sky, it was still morning and there was still plenty of time. Seeing Kite's back entering the warehouse, Jin was silent for a while, then looked at Nuokijau and said, "Is he really credible?" "To be honest, this young man is a little bit incomprehensible to him." "Is it a strong one?" "It shouldn't be a problem." Nuoki nodded high. "You know what the Nami does. Those who can still be with Nami in this situation will most likely stand with us. What's more, Nuokijau doesn't think humans will join the Arlong gang. After all, they hate humans so much." "Scientists," Jin muttered to himself. "I hope he can wake up this nightmare." Kite, who had finished making the weapon, saw Nami with an ugly face, and was stunned for a moment. "What's the matter? Why is your face so ugly?" "Kite, you are a scientist, right? You can develop a powerful weapon, right?" Nami seemed to see hope, grabbed Kite's hand and said, "Isn't it?" Then." Nami hesitated, and finally sighed. "Forget it, I'll have enough money in no time." As long as she saves enough money, the village can definitely be redeemed by her. What a naive girl. Kite sighed. "Tell me, what happened just now that made your face so ugly?" Nami glanced at Kite, hesitated for a while, or said everything that happened just now. "I see. Are you afraid that they will return to Arlong Paradise again and be killed by Arlong?" Kite shook his head. "You may underestimate their determination. Since I can come here to find you, I probably won't be afraid of those Murlocs." After speaking, Kite raised Nami's hand and put a ointment on it. "The injury can be treated well." "You girl is really cruel to yourself." "It's not good enough." Nami looked at his wound and said, "If the bleeding wasn't enough, they wouldn't believe me to kill Usopp. If it was her will to cause Usopp's death, she would be guilty for the rest of her life. After all, it was her happiest time on this ship. Otherwise, Usopp and Zoro would not have been saved at risk." Feeling the numbness from the wound, Nami's eyes were full of surprise. "So soon?" "That's natural. This is something I made," Kite said proudly. "It's just a mere medicine patch." "He can make more than that." "I believe in your ability a little bit." Nami looked at Kite with a pair of piercing eyes. It was the first time she had seen such a miraculous thing. "Anything else? Give me some more," Nami said, sticking out his tongue. "This thing is very useful to me." After all, she could easily get hurt when approaching other pirate groups. "Why, are you still planning to go out and infiltrate the pirate group?" "You already know that." Nami sat on the seat next to him and said, "Nuokijau told you that." "Really? This careless sister." But Nuokijau knew that it was within her expectations. After all, the two of them lived under the same roof. Kite did not reply. It was a default. Nami didn't care, but told her own experience with a low face, including the experience of his adoptive mother, Bel Matilda Diaresis Re, who was killed by Arlong. "Because of the two of us, Belle Ma couldn't take the adults' share of the money and was killed by Arlong in the end. If only Belle Ma hadn't picked me up back then. Nami clenched his fists. That's why I want to save up 100 million Baileys so that I can redeem the village. As long as I go out one more time, I can save enough. Kite took a step forward and embraced the fragile girl in his arms, slapped her on the back and said, "I'll help you. Don't think of yourself as a superfluous person. I believe your mother never regretted her decision. You are the continuation of her life." Hearing Kite's words, Nami was shocked. Belle Ma, do you really think so? Tears flashed in Nami's eyes. At this moment, she really missed Belle Ma. Nami opened his mouth and was about to speak when he was interrupted by the chaotic voice outside. What's going on? Nami glanced outside, frowning. Kite also released his arm and pulled Nami up. Let's go out and see what's going on. After coming outside, Kite saw the iconic marine appearance and immediately understood. This marine is here to loot Nami's treasure. Huh. That's funny. A group of pirates did not go to destroy here, but instead came to bully a little girl. Really disgusting behavior. The thief named Nami is you. Colonel Mouse let out a mouse-like laugh. According to our investigation, the treasure you stole from the pirates is hidden in this orange field, right? Although it was an interrogative sentence, Colonel Mouse's tone was very positive. It was as if he had already obtained accurate information. Hearing his words, Nami's pupils shrank, and his face immediately turned white. Why would he know? Colonel Mouse was very satisfied with Nami's expression, and said proudly, "The other party is a pirate, so I won't blame you. But a thief is a thief, so we should confiscate what you stole. Okay, hand over all the stolen goods." This money is really good. Although he needs to give Arlong a part of it, he is a little uncomfortable, but in order to plan for a long time, this is something that must be done. Seeing Colonel Mouse's disgusting look, Kite took a step forward. Now Nami should know what's going on. He's going to blow up this guy. Nami reached out and stopped Kite, signaling him not to act rashly. Then he pretended to be calm and looked at Colonel Mouse and said, "This is really an accident. You are really keen on work because you don't have the courage to fight against the pirates. Are you looking for thieves to give yourself extra points?" It's amazing. However, Colonel Mouse didn't care about Nami's words. Does he care about such little things? Money is the most important thing. Seeing that the other party was not ready to give up, Nami threw out his identity. "I'll give you a piece of advice first. I'm a cadre of Arlong's gang. If you dare to touch me, Arlong will not sit idly by." Nami believes that this guy would never dare to do it himself. At the same time, Nami was also a little puzzled. How did this marine touch this place? You must know that the previous marines were all killed by the Murlocs, otherwise it wouldn't have been under Arlong's rule for so long. "Do you think you can negotiate with me on an equal basis?" Colonel Mouse looked at Nami with disdain. She was really an innocent little girl. "Find me the loot." Following his order, all the marines moved. This time, Nami was completely panicked, especially when they were walking towards the place where they hid their treasures. Nami was even more excited to take out his weapon and knock the two marines to the ground. "Is this what you marines are supposed to do now?" Nami looked at Colonel Mouse angrily. "The Arlong gang not only killed people, they also destroyed a town. You should know. They're still ruling the island, trampling people everywhere. And you are ignoring this big problem and instead looting stolen goods from a thief. Is this what Marine does?" Nami was really disappointed in Marine at this moment. HMPH, it sounds great. Colonel Mouse didn't intend to ignore Nami, and continued to order his subordinates to find the location of the treasure. Until they know the specific location, Nami immediately rushed to knock it down. "My money will not be given to you." That money is. This kid's money is used to save Kokosa village." Jin shouted angrily. "Do you still have the right to take this money, Marine?" "What did you say?" Colonel Mouse glanced at Jin. "Are the police officers in the Mirror Village going to lecture Colonel Marine?" "How much did Arlong get you?" Kite asked indifferently. 50%, Colonel Mouse replied subconsciously, and then his face darkened. "Boy, Are you kidding me? Are you impatient to live? Glancing at the three people present, Colonel Mouse pondered, do you want to kill them all? That's why I said, you are very naive, Nami. Kite sighed and threw the small robot bomb in Kabuto. Arlong will not let you go. Nami slumped on the ground helplessly. At this moment, she really didn't know what to do. Kite looked up at Colonel Mouse, and showed a kind smile. I hope you can still stand and talk for a while. Colonel Mouse glanced at Kite and instinctively felt something was wrong. Why does this seemingly harmless guy give him a sense of danger? Most importantly, this guy knows his secret. Kill him. This guy wasn't on the list, just an irrelevant figure. Killing is killing, and no one cares anyway. It's really ironic, Colonel Kite sneered. If you don't agree with one word, kill someone. Is this your Marine style? Shaking his head, he slowly raised his two fingers. If that's the case, then I can only send you on your way. What are you going to do? Don't be noisy. Kite slowly raised a finger in front of his mouth and said, someone is calling you. Call me. Colonel Mouse was a little confused. What and what? Shinigami. Kite raised the corners of his mouth, then his eyes narrowed, and he snapped his fingers. Boom, boom, boom. I don't know when the tiny bomb robots on the Marines suddenly exploded, directly blowing them into brilliant fireworks. Looking at the only surviving Marine, Kite showed a sunny smile, matched with a trace of bloodline on his face, in Marine's eyes like a demon. Don't be nervous, I won't kill you. Kite waved his hand. Go back and tell your Marine base a message. Say that this scum was killed by me, Kite, the future big pirate Kite. If this scum is killed, it will be killed, but it cannot affect the village of Kokosia. Yes. Marine said shaky. I know. His upper teeth were hitting his lower teeth, and he could no longer control his body. It's so scary. Yeah, Kite nodded with satisfaction, patted Marine's shoulder, and then his face sank. Go away. Watching Marine, who was scrambling to escape into the distance, Kite narrowed his eyes. Do you think you'll let it go? Sorry, no. When Kite patted him on the shoulder just now, he had placed two robots on his body. One was a miniature bomb robot and the other was a positioning robot. When he tells the people in the base about his situation, the miniature bomb robot will explode. Kite never intended to let go of these guys, including those in the base. Walking in front of Nami, Kite squatted down and hugged him in his arms, ignoring Aegean's murderous gaze not far away, and said, do you recognize the reality now, Nami? Why? Hearing Kite's voice, tears began to flash in Nami's eyes. Why? I just want to redeem the village. Such a small wish. To this end, she fought hard for so many years, and died many times, but in the end it was empty. Nami clenched his fists, and his heart was full of hatred for Arlong. I hate it. If I knew this, I should have fought with them in the first place. That Arlong never planned to let you go from beginning to end. Kite sighed. Telling you this is just to use you more conveniently. It's just that he didn't expect that you would collect the money so quickly. After all, those who have hope in their hearts will not commit suicide, and will live well. Arlong is interested in Nami's drawing ability, but he can't let her die. The tears in Nami's eyes couldn't stop, and he reached out and grabbed the tattoo of the Arlong pirates on his shoulder, with such strength that his fingernails would penetrate into his flesh. Arlong, Arlong, Arlong. Kite reached out and grabbed Nami's hand, preventing her from self-harm. Kite. Nami looked up at Kite with a tearful face and said, help me. Okay. Kite reached out and rubbed Nami's hair with a smile on his face. I'm going to destroy your nightmare. Uncle Jin. Standing up, Kite glanced at Jin, who was not far away, and said, take care of Nami. Don't let her rush into Arlong Paradise. Going in there now doesn't make any sense other than adding to the pain. Okay. Jin nodded with a complicated expression. Does this kid really have the courage to face Arlong? In that case, I will forgive you for hugging my daughter just now. But after all, this kind of thing belongs to them in Kokosa Village. It is impossible for this young man to challenge Arlong Paradise by himself. Looking at Kite's retreating back, Jin thought for a while and said, Nami, I'm going to call up the people, let's fight with them. But Jin said angrily, since Arlong has shattered his hopes, There is no need for us to wait. Instead of lingering on like this, it's better to fight. Even if he dies, he has to fight to the death like a man. Jin's speed was very fast, or in other words, the people of Kokosa village had noticed something was wrong when they saw Marine walking towards Nami's house, so they picked up their weapons and waited. Soon, everyone marched to Arlong Paradise with weapons. On the other hand, Kite has already met everyone in the Straw Hat Pirates on the road. At this time, they were talking to Nuoka Zhao. Hunuochi, who noticed Kite, was stunned for a moment. "Kite, why are you here?" Kite briefly described what happened just now, and then said lightly, "I'm going to kill Arlong." Nuoka Zhao's pupils shrank, and his face was full of anger. "These bastards. It turns out that you have been lying to them all the time, right?" "You mean, that bastard from Arlong made Nami cry, right?" Sanji took a breath and said calmly. Kite glanced at Sanji. "What did he say?" "It's not your business now." Luffy stood up from the ground. "She's my navigator.